Silvermoon City.
Born and raised on the playground is where I spend most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all shooting some b-ball outside of the school. When a couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom got scared and said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle."
Sunstrider Isle.
Hi again. After making my previous 3 hardcore classic videos and after spending 20 hours fishing in Stormwind with nothing to show for it, I needed a change of pace. So at the announcement of Uldaman, Uldir? Oh, sorry, I meant Uldar. I wanted to return to Wrath of the Lich King. Previously, I had only maxed out one character and did the starting stuff with my Death Knight. All of those were on the loser server of Mankrik, aka a PvE server. I had been watching a lot of Barney Beekeeper while fishing, so I had a bit of a Stranglethorn Vietnam PvP excitement rushing in my veins. So I returned to my first ever classic server, Grobulus. See, look guys, it's my first character, Blue Rock, founder of the Rock Dynasty. But I wanted to get the full experience, starting from level 1. So I made a new character, a rogue, because it's one of the only classes I haven't tried, and also the PvP potential. But unfortunately for me, I picked the worst time to start fresh because I didn't realize how true the name of the Ghostlands were. Because hot damn, there was no players in sight. They were all max level raiding for Uldar. So, time for my solo leveling to 20. As the intro showed, I started in Sunstrider Isle, the baby area of Eversong Forest. I decided to make myself useful by killing some mana worms, some definitely not copies of Tolkien's Ints, and some Prince Philip looking asses who were overdosed on fell magic. Just look at old guy Phil. It looks like he's seen a sleep paralysis demon. Subscribe! Once I reached level 5, I was able to leave the isle and head to the main area of Eversong Forest. My main obstacle to get there, however, was the ruined half of Silvermoon. For those of you that are too cool for WoW lore, or haven't played Warcraft 3, or are too stupid to understand the story told in my intro, Big Bad Arthi came in with his undead a few years back and tore up the High Elves and killed their magic life source well, causing them to become the cocaine addicts we now know as the Blood Elves. Even after all this time, the area and the people haven't recovered. This can be definitely seen with all the undead roaming these lands and the fact that half the city is a ruins swarmed with homeless druggies and rogue robots. So I did my duty as a child of Silvermoon and dealt with them. This culminated in the killing of Thalsis the Hungerer. I took care of that tummy issue he had, and I headed out to the ruins and into the forest where I banished some feral magic beings who the elves lost control of in the fall. Other unsavory creatures also took this elven vulnerability as a chance to gain power. My forever enemies, the Murlocs, got a little too handsy for my liking and I stunted their growth, making them never able to grow past my knees. Other intruders were the Night Elf spies. The bastards exiled our people thousands of years ago, and they dare spy on us now? They had to be deleted. I also dealt with some more drug addicts who had taken over the docks and then finally made my first contact with the main enemy of the region, the Scourge. In his wake, Arthas led a huge army made up of his father's former citizens now turned into Arthas' undead legions. And like a dog with a poopy butthole, they left a stain on our land. This stain is known as the Dead Scar, and it spans from Deatholme, the Scourge's main fortress in the region, to Silvermoon, center of the former High Elven Empire. The first step of reclaiming what was lost was to wipe the Scourge from the lands. I would have to cleanse Deatholme. But before jumping into the Ghostlands, I had to finish Eversong Forest. My next step was to finally visit the Elven capital. I quickly sprinted past the undead in the Dead Scar and made my way to the auction house to earn some of that sweet, sweet moolah. After that, I headed over to the east side of Eversong to destroy more fell crystals. A lot of our elven brethren are addicted to this stuff, so we gotta go to town on it and stop it from corrupting their needy souls. There were other pests in the area though. Centuries ago, the trolls ruled the majority of the eastern kingdoms, but after slowly losing territory throughout generations due to the rise in human elves and dwarves, the trolls were pushed back to the northern eastern kingdoms where they bullied their neighbors for centuries. The humans of Lordaeron united under one banner, and together they teamed with the elves, who were also getting their ass handed to them by the trolls, and kicked them back to an even smaller region, which is where they currently reside in today, the hinterlands. Unfortunately, Lordaeron was genocided by their prince, who then used all their corpses to ruin the High Elves. So now that both their rivals were dead, the trolls have tried to make a comeback. I had to go deal with them and kill their chieftain, Zol Mrosh. With his death, Eversong tribe's leadership would falter, and they would be forced to flee back south. With the intruders dealt with, and the fell crystals and their attics destroyed, only the undead remained an issue. So I pushed them back through the Dead Scar towards the Ghostlands. In the Ghostlands, I killed some wildlife and assassinated a lady of Darnassus, a leader of the spies in the area. The first scourged target in the area was the Narubis, who had taken over the ruins of Suncrown Village. I slowly picked them off one by one until their leader remained. But I'd have to come back later because he was a little too powerful. I finally made my way to the only civilized settlement in the area, Tranquillin. I was tasked to give a report to the leaders of Silvermoon, so I quickly flew back and forth, passing on letters for them. I then found and killed more Darnassus spy camps because these guys just wouldn't give up. They were swarming everywhere like little cockroaches. But death isn't the end for some, as even after being killed by the Scourge and not being raised as the undead, elven spirits still haunted some of the villages in the area. I freed their spirits from their torment and let them go back into the shadows. Some other sad souls were denied death. These creatures were the murlocs of the area. So it's all cool. These guys can rot in hell for all I care. But I still was told to kill them, and
Good soldiers follow orders.
next I had to gather crystallized mana for the elves. So I killed whatever rogue mana creature I could get my hands on and stole their crystal rocks and acted as a dealer for my homies. I even had to kill some big magic water monster. I also had to overhunt some more of the wildlife population who were carrying the plague. I couldn't let them cough on me, so I replaced their teeth with my daggers. So after halving the population of spiders, lynxes, and bats, I headed to the western outpost. The stupid trolls didn't run south enough because they tried setting up shop in the Ghostlands too. I got my bug spray out because it was pest killing time. But I didn't get them all just yet. I had to also sneak into their ancient tomb where the mummies were roaming around, and I had to rescue some upstanding citizen. I was also stupid though, and I had a lock-picking rogue quest but lacked the skill to do so. So I quickly scurried all the way back to Silvermoon to learn the ability and then ran all the way back. I stuck my way there and got the ring. To finish off these trolls, I killed their cat lords and their hex witches, severely weakening their might. But sadly for me, the trolls were not done yet. I had to enter Zol Amon to fully force them out. But that is a story for a different time. Right now, I have to focus on the Scourge. I ran into the Dead Scar where I killed zombie hungerers and skeleton sentinels. I took out their stone gargoyle monsters and then headed to what was left of the Wind Runner Spire, the former home of the leader of the Forsaken. After killing necromancer cultists and banshees, I recovered the ancient heirloom of Sylvanas. I continued my crusade against the Scourge by doubling back to Suncrown Village where I took out that loser, Anak Suten. Easy. Okay, just kidding. I had to board some Night Elf ship and kill its captain to get their plans. Okay, now back to the Scourge. I assassinated some of their mages back in the Dead Scar, but this time much closer to the fortress of Deatholme. I also took out their 2 outpost towers in the center of the Ghostlands. And finally, after returning to Tranquillin, I was given the task of taking out the evil of Deatholme. But there is one big problem that the wise among us might see. No point so far in this video have I shown another player. That isn't intentional. I wasn't lying when I said there was no one here. So I had to do something I didn't think I was capable of. I begged. I took the first flight to Silvermoon and from there took the teleporter orb to the forsaken capital of the Undercity where I met with Sylvanas and returned her family heirloom to her. She was so emotional and grateful that she burst into a sad song which summoned spirits of high elves into her throne room. She offered me many riches for her services, but I asked her if I could borrow some of her accomplished warriors to help me with Deatholme. She pointed me in the direction of the help I seeked. After being rejected many times over, wow, this game is really realistic. But as they say, shoot your shot because eventually someone will agree. And that is what happened. I met Sir Rectum Good, Miss Rectum Good, who agreed to tutor me in the arts of roguishness and would help me destroy the evil that lied in Deatholme. We regrouped in Tranquillin and headed down the Dead Scar. Along the way, we came face to face with the monstrosity Luzran, a mass of flesh shoved together like it was a wad of gum. She easily decimated him. We then tracked down his twin, who was also easily slaughtered. Deatholme was next. We headed to the center building where the leader of the fortress was. We took out his guards until finally we were just face to face with the traitor himself, the man who backstabbed his own race in favor of the power offered to him by the Lich King, Dar Khan. With Rectum tanking and me stabbing, we made quick work of this vile man. It was good. With Rectum Good leaving me to prepare for her journey to battle the Lich King in Northrend, I had work to do. With their leader dead, I was able to quickly assassinate Dar Khan's lieutenants. I quickly killed Jurion the Deceiver and saved Enthal. I then revived Ranger Viradon, who was also taken prisoner. I then took out Masofat the Black and his cronies. I snuck into Borgoth the Bloodletter's torture room and ended him soon after. Only one leader remained, Murderin the Fallen. He soon fell to my blade. But yes, with the re-death of Darkon and his yes-men of Jurion, Masofet, Borgoth, and Murderin, I fell down! The undead had no one left to command them and were quickly destroyed by Blood Elves. I had avenged what Arthas had done in the Third War, but it wasn't over yet. The Lich King had long since left these lands, and as we speak, the Alliance and Horde battle against the Scourge in Northrend, and I want to join them. But unfortunately, I am too weak in my current form. I need to gain more experience and become stronger, powerful, and mighty. I had reached level 20, but I still had 50 levels to go before I was able to venture into Northrend. Arthas Menethil, I am coming. Like and subscribe and follow my Twitch channel!